Hello, Dorna here. Thank you for tuning in. This is the second part of the video about the ego. I wanted to clarify something. And the first thing is that when I was talking about contraction, the ego being contractions, I meant contractions that are not by your choosing. You're not consciously trying to contract. The contractions are happening despite your will. And they're happening to a point that even if you try to tell the nervous system or that part of the body that has contracted to relax, sometimes it's actually impossible to do. And that brings us to the second part, something that I wanted to again mention so that you don't get into this tug of war with the ego, with the contractions. Because those contractions, those that happen inside, are actually a form of protection. And that's really important for me. So I think it's a very fundamental point to make. It's actually really a friend internally. Let's think of a nervous system friend, internal friend, that is trying to protect you from harm. So it contracts. Problem is, this friend, unfortunately, without realizing, has turned to become a foe, the enemy, because the way that it's contracting is actually harming you. It's harming us. It's trying to protect. It gets all these things because it's not sure whether it should be saying this. It's not sure how it's coming across, and the contractions are harming us because we can't even breathe. We can't breathe properly with them. So the ego is a contraction. It's a protective contraction. But what is doing in the name of protection, in the name of our survival, for our sake, is actually what is causing us pain and what is causing us a lot of the problems that we seem to be facing, at least I know in my case, that I seem to face in the day. Looking at the time, because one example that I want to give you, for example, I as a person, my nervous system reacts to some changes, big changes. I've had a lot of big changes in my life. I've adapted to all of them, and some of them were much more difficult to adapt to, and I've realized the hardship of it. But it doesn't stop from the fact that whenever there's another big change coming, that all these protective mechanisms come in, the ego comes in. I've got to protect Dorna. Something is going on here. And that is exactly what I don't need, because I am going through a change, some change, whatever that may be, that creates a level of anxiety, which is a contraction within me. And it's not helping me. It's actually stopping me from going through a change in a way that I like to go for, with my own internal resources, with strength, with power. Because that level of protection, anxiety, whatever it causes in the face of change, for example, is actually not letting me breathe. So I don't have access to my resources. And I would like to have it. I would like to have it. So I need to learn what happens. And this is my invitation. My invitation to you is, and I've said that in the previous message, but I say it again, my invitation to you is, wherever you are in a situation that is less than ideal, before trying to change the situation, like this change, for example, which you cannot change, or you might even be able to change, but before getting there, check in with yourself and find out where and what is happening physically. You will find out what happens with your breath. You will find out a lot. And if you have access to this, if you can do something about this, then it's much easier to ride the waves of whatever is going on out there in the external world. I think that's it. I think I've made my point a little bit clearer than yesterday. I hope you can take this with you, and I hope it makes a difference as always. Thank you for watching. Until later. Bye.